mic. No expense spared there. My mic was off. Right. It is the 13th after all. Friday the 13th and the 13th shows, so pretty much doomed, to be honest. Pretty much doomed. Right. So how are you guys doing? I'm going to turn on the comments, have a little look. Oh, hello, Cole. Cole's in the house, which is good. Dornio, hello. Let's put these up for a minute. Got yep, the Dark 66. We have got Roxy B also. I just want to say thank you once again as well to oh, hi Drew, you all right? To everyone that is messaging and getting in contact and watching this, even, you know, to be honest. But this one's going to be quite a good show if it survives the 13th, that is. Put it this way, look, yesterday didn't start off very well. Had a guest to interview on the 12th and just couldn't get onto the streaming platform. Would not have it either. So I've got him on today on the live, so he's got some interesting stuff to share as well. I just thought what I'd do is and I've got I haven't got a Dogman t-shirt on today because it's so hot in there, the rubber room, if you like, you know, the it's kind of like a bit hot up here, so I thought, well, what I'll do, I'll just like put this on and get my guns out, as it were. So what show's all about this week is tulpas, thought forms. We're going to be briefly talking about other things as well, a little bit about UFO, because I saw a newspaper the other day. Let me just I'll start off first of all. What I want to do is I want to start off with if I get it up, that is, hang on. Who knows about the history of the 13th on Friday? It's quite interesting. I kind of like looked it up and I thought, oh, I wonder what it actually is all about. Evidently, it goes back to Friday 13th, the Last Supper. This is one account. So the Last Supper, where Jesus and his 12 apostles, including Judas, were present, is a common thread. Judas, the 13th guest, is often cited as the source of the number 13's negative association. And then you've got Norse mythology. Again, 13th Friday. So not in Norse mythology, and it's very, very close. Interestingly close to the Last Supper. Get this, right? In Norse mythology, Loki, the 13th guest at a dinner party of the gods, caused the world to be plunged into darkness, further associating 13 with bad luck. So there we go. It's also got connotations as well to the Templars and King Philip the Fourth. I believe, and I stand to be corrected, this is just straight off the old grey matter. King Philip the Fourth persecuted and called to arrest and trial on the 13th Friday the Templars, Knights Templar. Back in the day in the 13th century, 13 something or other. I forget now. I wasn't around then. I looked like I should have been around then, but I wasn't around. Right. Okay. Let's have a look. Oh, hello, Kate. Thank you for joining us. Right. Okay. What we've got is got tulpas. So what I'm going to do first of all, I think, rather than keep our guests waiting too long, I'm going to bring up our first guest, Carl. Okay. So there's two Carls tonight. We've got Louis with his friend Carl, and we've got another guy, Carl, from the States, who I was going to interview yesterday, but yeah, it didn't pan out, you know what I mean? So right, so bring up Carl first. Let's have a look. Hello, Carl.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing? Yeah,
Hey,
not too
good,
bad,
good.
not too bad. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That's all right. More than welcome. Sorry, it just didn't pan out at all last night, did it?
I know the solar thing, right?
Yeah, man. It
Yeah,
was right. It was,
gnarly. Yeah.
yeah, it was like awful. It was just did not work out at all. Um, we were talking last night about well, you found something very interesting, didn't you? Which is
Hmm.
Bigfoot equated.
I
I
did.
bought,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'll bring it up. Let's have a look. Give me 1 minute. Here we
Hmm.
go, Carl. This.
Yeah.
What what we're looking at?
We are looking at a potential, uh, what I believe is a juvenile, a Bigfoot print. My wife found it actually, and it was only one print, and um, it looks kind of old and like weathered, but it's clearly a larger than a human footprint. And if you see like the toes, they kind of go in a upward angle, and we just found it kind of odd that it was right in the area where there had been a lot of Sasquatch sightings, uh, and this is like by far the biggest evidence I have gathered
Okay.
about Bigfoot.
Okay. And you spoke about the area, Carl. You sent me a very interesting map. Let me get that up as well. Let's have a look. Right. Now, what's the blue dot?
The blue dot is the blue dot is where I live. It's my
Okay.
location. It's
And
a
the coloration, what's that?
The coloration is like a, a Bigfoot sightings in my in Washington, and the red is the most condensed sightings, and then it goes out to yellow. And I was watching a documentary about 7 years ago, and the narrator said that at the time there's been over 800 documented sightings of Sasquatch, and about St. Helens, which is kind of south of me, is also a huge area where because the forests are remote and really hard to get to, and
Okay.
it's just amazing how much activity is in our area.
Okay. Right. Do you go out looking actively looking for Bigfoot?
Yeah, yeah. This one time yeah, I have. This one time I actually did a Bigfoot call, it was like a whooping call, and I saw we saw like a deer like running for its life, and um, deers are big sources of food for Bigfoot, and I just didn't think of it as much of a coincidence because um, it was just too perfect, kind of, and it just like, and I have been out a Bigfoot hunting quite a few times. Um, Unfortunately, I don't have it like very good technology, like thermal cameras or like anything like that. But I do believe that they're in this area, and I I've heard that they go through portals and can like travel through to other parts of the world.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. What's your can I ask, Carl, what's your thoughts on the whole portal business? I mean, what do you actually I know it's a big question, and it's a question that really isn't easily answered.
Yeah.
Um, my thoughts are on this. My thoughts are portals do exist.
Mhm.
Okay. And as I spoke of last week with Colin Kilty when he was on as a co-host, and we were chatting about it. And when you look at a black hole, it's basically a portal.
Yeah. It is.
It's and it's one of these things where with there was an interesting. they've. Do you remember that link you sent me? You sent me a link with the congressional UFO uh, uh, um, uh, meeting that they had.
Yes, sir.
I watched that, and it was really good.
Yeah.
And I watched another one, which is a more recent one, and there was because with YouTube, it kind of like it pops up with the next available pertaining video to what you're watching. You know, it looks at what you're interested in, it kind of brings something else up. And there was another one that popped up, and it was a guy on I think it was Fox News, I believe it was, and he was a government official, and he spoke about um, uh, the government having technology for time travel
Mhm.
and anti-gravity technology,
Mhm.
and it kind of almost like on purpose slips out, but I think a lot of this is orchestrated, you know.
Yeah.
And with the Bigfoot, a lot of times they kind of like they're there, and then witnesses will say they disappear behind the tree and they just go, they vanish, or they morph out.
Mhm.
Do you think that could be like where they enter a portal? Do you think
Yeah, and
portals?
Bigfoots, as we know, can cloak themselves. They have cloaking capabilities, and I do believe that the government is. I sound like a crazy person, but I do feel like the government is in contact with them, and that they're trying. I do believe that Bigfoots are extraterrestrial in
Mm,
in a
yeah.
nature, and I I just believe that our government is working with them to develop new technology like cloaking devices or super soldiers or what have you. So I do believe
Mm,
that. I saw this one episode of a show where a Bigfoot team uncovered like a roof of a bunker in like the middle of the forest, just just totally out of like out of nowhere, and it was just really incredible, just like to see like the technology of the governments and everything.
mm.
So
Oh, it's crazy. I remember seeing, I don't know, you might have seen this as well, or people at home. You probably caught this because it's like
mhm,
it was all over the social media. And what it is, it's a film. So it's like almost like a curtain. And
mhm,
as they hold it up, the curtain is made of such a material that it's able to um not it's able, a bit like a prism, it scatters light in a certain direction, and
mhm,
it renders whoever's behind this curtain that's held
mhm.
up
Yeah,
basically invisible. Yeah, it
mhm,
kind of like, they're not there.
yeah,
um I think China's got the same tech, and the States has that same tech as well.
yeah, totally. Yeah,
And
real.
it's real, man. It's like it's proper legit. It's out there, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's scary when you think that at the moment we are 20 years behind at least in technology to what they actually have.
Yeah, I believe it.
I
Yeah.
heard a s- I heard a scary thing, Carl. The scary thing is, they evidently were playing around and had mobile phones back
Mhm,
in the 60s.
mhm.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, the technology has really helped increase like activity. Like I took that footprint with my cell phone, and other people have had the UFO sightings and everything on cell phones. And um, there's a guy. He's a scientist. His name is Georgios Tsoukalos, and he's like an ancient alien theorist. And he said that um, that our greatest opportunity to capture paranormal events are from civilians, because with all due respect, they don't know like what they're looking at, and that
Mm.
and that it increases their authenticity. So it's really
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, it is. All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring on our other guest with Louis and another Carl. Okay, so that we can all kind of like share what we and I'm going to play something for you. All right, so I'll just bring on Louis. Hello, Louis.
How you doing, brother?
All
Good.
right, not too bad. Hey, Carl. How you doing? Nice, no, no,
Hey,
good
Kyle.
to see you.
So I got to move the camera a little bit so we can both get in there. So
Yeah, sure,
how you
sure.
doing, brother?
Okay, yeah, not too bad. Louis, we've been talking on Messenger a little bit. Can you give us a sort of a briefing of what's been going on with you?
Um, what part? What do you call it? Been climbing mountains and praying, and
Mm,
along the way, if you you got all my recordings and everything. So
yeah,
we recorded. I recorded also Bigfoot tracks. I've recorded spears in the air, and actually this weekend. And at the valley that we're talking, the first night we were there, we saw 15 stars line up and then shoot in a straight line. And they just kept going. They went faster and faster and faster.
Starlink my ass.
And you can say it was Starlink, weather balloons, but
When some of them like stop and then go one way and then catch back up with the rest of them, the satellites don't do that.
you know,
right.
but
Silly to say satellites.
he was there when I was climbing and I found the tracks and he's been witnessing everything that I've been coming across. Like
All that woo woo shit.
all that paranormal activity and stuff like that, and I mean, or different beings. You know,
Interesting.
But
it's been interesting. He's sitting right here with me, and I haven't recorded nothing that has recently happened, but he can tell you he's been witnessing and seeing.
Just a weird place to find yourself where we're at.
Yeah.
On the
okay,
map.
right now you spoke, Carl. Louis was talking about the Fae and up on a mountain, and also about the white flowers. Can you explain what happened there?
The white flowers. Well, they were everywhere. He didn't even notice them
Yeah.
at first.
Well, the thing about the white flowers is, Tess kept having dreams that I would find a valley with covered in white flowers, a certain white flower, and I would find something there. And Kyle can even tell you, he's right here. Um, when he kept telling me about the white flowers, and I just, for some reason, my mind was cloudy. I couldn't see nothing.
You were a little off.
I was off. I've been off for a couple of weeks since I came down the last mountain. I've been I guess you could say I've been finding portals, and I've been really getting really, really close. So
This was a good one. There's a
this
good
one,
there.
this one, he's right here. He can tell you.
That was crazy.
As soon as I started seeing the Fae, a door appeared.
Right in the middle
Okay.
of it.
All right.
Perfectly squared
Uh,
up.
can you give us a bit more information, Louis? What blow by blow? Sort of what was the event? Was it morning? Was it evening? Was it nighttime?
Okay, the first night we saw the stars, and then something told me, and I was still clouded in the head, and something told me that as soon as I get to where I need to be, um, I'll understand. And the next morning, after camping out in the forest out there, uh, we took off towards the lake in the middle of the valley. And as soon as I got to a certain spot, my battery fried, like literally the battery just went dead. I sent you a picture of it, how it looks. You know, it didn't look
Yeah,
like.
I've got. Yeah,
Um,
I got that.
so I figured,
We got stranded.
and
but
so we got stranded out there in the
That's a drastic word for it.
drastic. I was where I needed to be. You know,
Yeah.
something told me as soon as I got close enough, it would react. And I think the whole day we were just checking it out, you know, chilling out. Just I was trying to catch fish for dinner and stuff, and he was napping. And towards the night, towards the sundown, that's when everything started getting feeling a little different. And started seeing, you know, the way I say is fae. They looked more like elves, but their bodies were covered in leaves and wood. And I know that, you know, and very, very beautiful. When I first saw them, I told Kyle, I said, "There's a woodland folk." They got pretty upset, so I had to apologize. And as soon as I apologized, they off were like they showed me like a little passageway, and there was a door.
My mag must have mag.
And he saw the door appear,
Mhm.
and he's like
I didn't see it appear because I had been looking that way. But when I looked back over that way, I'm like, oh, well, look,
there's a door.
there you go. There's a door for you.
You know, and it was made out of wood, just like but one of them old wooden doors, like, you know, something you'd see in a movie or something, you know, like made out of trees and
Some of the
stuff.
weird shit they have.
And as soon as the door hit, I started feeling better, and then we turned to the right, and
no, that was that same night.
that was
the
that
same
was the
night.
same night. It was
the same night.
all the when the yeah.
The light came down.
So the clouds parted, and they started beaming orange type of light through the clouds, and then if you kept paying attention, they started forming into they look like angels. That's the only thing I can say is winged humanoids.
What the clouds look like angels.
No, like they were coming
They
down.
look like my picture.
They were look. I don't know if you can see this.
Comes into my whole idea.
Like they were actually coming down from the clouds, and they were coming into the valley. I don't know if you can see.
Hold on. Let's go. Right.
Let's see.
Right. Let me try and get you on big one. Oh no! Hang on, guys. One minute. Right. Hang on. Yeah, that might be better. Where's that? Carl, can you show that? Let's show that. See that photo again. Hold it up a bit. Hold it up.
Oh, turn it on.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna take me a minute.
Okay. Well, here. Okay.
Okay.
They were. They didn't. It wasn't clouds. It was light. It was. They were coming down. It started with one, and then next thing you know, the whole valley were covered in them. And he asked me. He goes, "Are those really angels?" And I said, "Yes." And I told him, God's heavenly army is prepared, brother. You know, and so, you know, that's what I've been doing. Like I said, I've been climbing mountains. And
okay, quick, Louis, can I ask you? That's cool. Listen, can I ask you, when you and Carl saw, just to pick it apart, because people at home are going to wonder, what did the door look like? What did that door look like? Describe it.
It was okay. The trees parted, and it looked like a little hallway, and it looked like there was steps to it, and then it just went into like a door frame, like a kind of oval or roundish, but kind of
I can't make up the details from that part, but
you know, it was
I could tell there's a geometric shape.
Yeah.
You know.
Was there any light? Any light emanating from it?
No, the lights was it was like basically the sun was going down, and there was like the trees were getting all the light, and it showed the pathway to the door, you know. And so it's like I said, is I've been I call them portals, you know, just like the other top of the mountain when I found the other image of the lion. Um, as soon as I got there and the sun started going down, the image of the lion turned goldish, and the gold it started bleeding gold. And so I sat there all night praying, and you know, so
okay, right. Listen, you guys have got to be careful out there, you know.
Well, I understand that, but
armed and dangerous.
got to do it. You know,
Yeah.
I was about to give up. I really did, and until Tess called me and told me I better not give up. She knows I've been doing this for a long time. You know, I've been traveling for a while. You know, and
Okay. Because you saw the Fae. Let me ask you this: do you think? Don't take it the wrong way, but do you think because you're going up that mountain, and you're not going up to have a picnic, you're going up with one thing in mind? You're going up because you want to investigate and see what is up there, and in your mind, you have all kinds of things running through the possibilities of hopefully seeing from Bigfoot to uh, 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 angels to lizard people to all kinds of things. Do you think that there could be a possibility that what you saw was almost like motor driven by your subconscious? It was
no, because you know, to be honest with you, I just go up to pray. I don't expect nothing. You know, when I get up there, I ask permission. You know, from the mountain, the valley, you know, nature, before I start. You know, checking everything out. But no, I don't expect nothing. I don't. Something. Ever since I got, you know, ever since I ended up at the pyramids and everything started with me, I just keep hearing where to go pray.
Sure. Okay. I just thought I'd ask that because what I wanted to talk about, I'm gonna play a little bit, okay, of because what I did, once again, I got a lot of information together about tulpas. I knew a little bit about, you know, egregores, tulpas, thought forms. Okay.
You got an expert right here.
Yeah, you're an expert on them.
Yes. Thoroughly.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I'm most interested not so much in the egregore. Egregore is more where you have multiple people, like the Philip experiment, where you have multiple people which
Like
are yeah, and they're able to actually thought form and share thoughts about a single entity. It might be a make-believe entity, and they'll give it a backstory, like the Philip experiment. They'll give it a name, a history, a family, a schooling, and they will create an egregore. You know, it can be created. They can be, you know, sort of construed egregores can as being sometimes deities, because you know people en masse believe in a deity, and you know so, but with tulpas, they're more individual. A tulpa is made and believed and takes form by an individual. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to play. I'm going to take you guys off for a minute, okay? And stay on. I'm just going to play a little bit of film, just so that or a bit of audio actually. But that I got. Right. Okay. Okay, here we go.
Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine this. What if an imaginary friend wasn't just, in your head?
Like it became something
Something
distinct.
Exactly. Or what if a really strong shared idea, something a whole group believes in, could actually sort of solidify, become real in some way?
It's pretty fascinating, isn't it? Looking at the sources we've gathered, they really dive headfirst into that exact territory.
They really do.
They explore what might happen when belief and intense concentration, whether it's just one person or a whole group, get focused to a point where, well, where entities or forces seem to actually manifest.
Seriously, wild concepts. We get this whole stack of articles and notes here, all getting into tulpas, egregores, this whole idea of thought forms.
Right.
So our mission for this deep dive is basically to sift through all this material, try to cut through the mystery a bit.
Understand what the sources say these things are.
Yeah, where do the ideas come from? How are they supposedly created? What are they like? And crucially, what are the implications? Even the dangers the sources talk about.
And it's interesting how these ideas pop up again and again, isn't it? In myths, legends, even modern fiction.
Totally.
It's kind of a journey into the power of thought, of shared belief, maybe even, like the sources suggest, collective dreaming.
Okay, so let's start with the big one mentioned right off the bat in the sources. The tulpa. They talk about tulpamancers
People who use intense concentration, visualization.
to create what the sources call a special kind of imaginary friend. But it's more than that, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. The sources make a really critical distinction straight away. These aren't just puppets in your mind.
Right.
Tulpas are understood, or at least described, as distinct sentient beings. They have their own personalities, their own wants, a level of autonomy.
So within the communities that practice this, they're treated like they're actually real, actually sentient.
Exactly. That's how they're treated. Even though, as the sources point out, there's no external proof of this sentience. It's based on the practitioner's experience.
One source described it almost like having another person living inside your head,
Yeah.
but separate from you.
Yeah, that captures the feel of it described in the material.
And the word itself, tulpa, where's that from?
Well, the material traces it back. It's Tibetan, from tulpa.
Sprolpa.
Yeah, meaning something like emanation or manifestation. So it connects to this older mystical idea of things being brought into existence through mental or spiritual power.
And these emanations,
Yeah.
they don't have to look human, right? The sources mentioned that.
Not at all. They say tulpas can show up as, well, anything. Animals, creatures, even inanimate objects, furniture, apparently.
Furniture. Okay.
Yeah. The key thing described is that they have their own free will, emotions, memories, a whole personality that sort of develops over time.
Shaped by the attention you give it.
Exactly. Attention, shared experiences. It takes time for that complexity to emerge, according to the Tulpamancer's accounts.
So, okay, how do people actually do this? How do they create one based on what we've read? And then what? How do they interact?
The creation part, as described, really hinges on that sustained concentration and visualization we mentioned. It's not a quick process.
Right. The tulpamancer's doing this for extended periods.
Yeah. It takes time for that personality to really form and, I guess, mature through that focus and the experiences they have together internally.
And why do it? What's the main reason people reportedly put in all that effort?
Companionship. That's cited as the #1 reason in the sources.
Okay. And communication. How does that work?
The most common method described is called mind voice.
Mind voice. So like telepathy inside your own head?
Sort of, yeah. It's described as hearing thoughts that don't feel like your own, that seem to come from the tulpa, and then you respond with your own thoughts. An internal dialogue.
Huh. Does it take long to get that working?
The sources say it varies a lot. Could be days, could be months, sometimes even longer to get that clear, distinct communication going.
I was really interested in this idea of wonderlands that came up.
Ah, yes, wonderlands. They're described as these imagined places, like internal landscapes or dream spaces.
Places to meet the tulpa.
Exactly, a place to interact, give context to the interactions, and also kind of where the tulpa hangs out when it's not actively engaged with the creator.
It gets even stranger, though. Some of the techniques sound like they try to bring the tulpa outside, like imposition.
Right, imposition is presented as a more advanced skill. The goal there is to actually hallucinate the tulpa.
Hallucinate how? Seeing it.
Seeing it, hearing it, smelling it, even feeling its texture, using any sense. The idea is when someone gets really good at it, the tulpa seems to just seamlessly fit into reality for them.
Wow. That's intense. And there were even more advanced things mentioned briefly.
Yeah, the sources touch on tulpa possession.
Where the tulpa takes over the body.
Reportedly, yes. And also switching, where the host's mind sort of goes into the tulpa's form in the Wonderland, while the tulpa runs the physical body.
Okay, that's a whole other level.
Yeah.
It suggests this whole spectrum of interaction, from just thoughts to sharing a body.
That seems to be the range described in the practitioner communities, yeah.
All right, so that's the tulpa, this intense individual creation.
Yeah.
But the sources bring up another related concept, the egregore.
Yes, egregore. The material mentions it's more commonly known as a concept linked to tulpas, but often in like occult or esoteric contexts.
Okay, so if a tulpa comes from one person's focus,
Yeah.
an egregore is from a group.
That's the core difference presented. Tulpa, individual thought form. Egregore, collective thought form. A psychic manifestation arising from a group mind, you could say.
Does it have historical roots too?
It does. The sources mention links to things like angelic beings or watchers in some older traditions, like Enochian magic.
But the modern idea, or the one discussed in the sources, is more about shared motivation.
Yeah, that seems key. An egregore is said to form when a group shares a strong common motivation or focus. It's described as being made of the group's thoughts and energy, but also influencing them back.
Like a feedback loop?
Exactly. There's a quote from Amelin, an occultist mentioned in the sources.
Oh, yeah.
He defines it as a force generated by a powerful spiritual current and then nourished at regular intervals, or a union of entities united by a common characteristic nature. It highlights that creation and feeding aspect.
Nourished at regular intervals, like rituals, or maybe just continued shared belief.
Could be either, depending on the context, I suppose. The sources draw comparisons to things we see every day.
Like what?
Like the idea of a corporation being a legal entity, distinct from the people in it. Or even how a powerful meme spreads and takes on a life of its own, influencing the group that shares it.
Huh. That's an interesting comparison. It makes it seem less mystical somehow.
Well, it suggests the underlying principle of collective energy creating something distinct might not be confined to magic circles. And the sources do note the idea has ancient roots, Greek and Oriental cultures.
Okay, but it's not all just fascinating theory, is it?
Hmm.
The sources definitely get into a darker side. Dangers.
They absolutely do. There's a clear warning in the material that tulpas, once created, aren't necessarily benign. They could become dangerous.
No.
Growing too independent, maybe becoming mischievous, or worse, getting out of the creator's control.
And the stories can turn nasty, violent even.
Yeah, the sources mention accounts where tulpas reportedly developed sinister traits, took on poltergeist-like activity, or were even seen as demonic, capable of causing actual physical harm, according to some stories.
Slender Man comes up here right, as a kind of modern internet-spawned example.
Well, exactly. He's cited as maybe the most infamous recent example, linked to the creepypastas community online. The idea being that the collective focus and storytelling essentially birthed him as a tulpa, according to this framework.
And they connect that directly to older ideas.
Yeah, there's that quote comparing it to an incident in Tibet.
Right, the monks visualizing a golem.
In 1915, supposedly 20 monks meditated so hard they brought a golem to life. The quote then says, if 20 monks can do that, imagine what thousands of people online focused on the same idea like Slender Man could potentially do.
That really scales it up, doesn't it? The potential power of collective thought. Okay, so if one of these things does go rogue, how do the sources say you stop it?
Well, according to the lore presented, the power to erase or dissolve the tulpa lies only with the original creator.
Only the creator.
Seems so. It's presented as a really crucial ability if the tulpa turns malevolent.
And if the creator fails?
There are cautionary tales mentioned, stories where the creator couldn't regain control and reportedly became the tulpa's final victim.
Yeah.
Pretty grim.
Yikes. The sources also said tulpas can change form, morph over time.
Yeah, apparently, as the idea or the focus behind them changes, their manifestation can shift too.
And destroying them involves what? Just stopping thinking about it.
That's one method mentioned, eliminating the thought, especially if it's not fully formed,
No.
or diluting the concentration that feeds it. And if it has taken on some kind of perceived physical form, like the golem example, destroying that form is another method listed.
It's really striking how these specific concepts, tulpas, thought forms, aren't just isolated phenomena. They seem to resonate with themes we see everywhere. Myths, legends.
For sure. It connects straight back to stories of artificial beings created through magic or meditation, like the golem you mentioned from Jewish folklore.
The Tibet story with the monks is used exactly for that, right?
Yep.
Linking ancient magic to modern internet creation.
Precisely. The sources use it to draw that line. Concentrated collective thought, whether monastic or online, potentially having tangible effects.
There was also that interesting side note, paranormal studies suggesting tulpas are more common in children.
Yeah, an interesting observation dropped into the material, though they don't really explore why that might be the case in the sources we have. Maybe something about imagination or belief.
Could be. And it's not just folklore, it pops up in modern fiction too.
Definitely.
Right, I shall turn that off because all I can hear is that at the moment. Hold on.
Hey,
Oh yeah, right. I'll turn this off if I can. Hold on. 1 minute. Hold on. It is the 13th, you know. It is the 13th.
solar activity.
Right, good. Yeah, it's the 13th, man. I knew it's something was going to happen. Okay, that's good. We're good. Okay, hang on. Let's just get this all up again. Right. Okay. So basically, what that's telling us is thought forms can manifest, or possibility of it manifesting. The famous one being the Philip experiment. There was another experiment afterwards called the Lilith experiment. It reaped the same results, partially debunked because they had mediums. And when you've got things like spiritualists and mediums, it's very hard to get controlled results and to repeat those controlled results because you're dealing with people and they're innately unreliable. So the Philip experiment was interesting. They created this thought form, gave it a backstory, and then it started to interact in the way of moving the table, and it was knocking and tapping, and they would ask it direct questions, and it would respond, not verbally, but it would respond with moving things. But then you've got you've also got, we're very complicated, and we have a lot more capabilities than we care to think of, really, that we actually know. And I think that our subconscious can always construe things differently. A road traffic accident to NASA Carl up there would be a slightly different perspective in the way it happened to Carl with Louis, seeing the same accident from another objective viewpoint, and that plays a big part in what we're dealing with, and that is the uncontrolled evidencing. That is something that we can't really repeat, because you'll never stand in that same spot again to see that same accident happen in the same way. I mean, that's what we're dealing with. But I think with thought forms, another way you can stop thought forms is turn the computer off. What do I mean by that? There's such a thing as uncanny valley, and that is where I did bring it up, actually. I thought I wrote a little thing on that. With kids and computers, we have a fear, a certain fear of AI representations of us. There's something which, like, kind of innately kind of almost like it's inbuilt into us that we know they're not real and they look odd. They just look odd. It's sometimes like, when you look into a mirror and the mirror's split in the middle, and you kind of look, and it's in the middle of your face, and your face just takes on this strange look because it's got absolute symmetry on both sides. It kind of, you look so different. It's the same type of thing, and that's the rendering that we get from a lot of AI, and kids playing these computer games in a way are giving life because they're so deep into it. They're so deep into their characters, so deep into the game. It's almost like the game has, like Slender Man, it takes on, its own. It takes on its own life within the person playing it, to a certain extent. Here I've written that this is and this is fact. This is fact. The uncanny valley is a psychological phenomenon that describes the feeling of unease and discomfort that people experience when something is almost human but not quite. The term was coined by Japanese roboticist Masahiro Mori in 1970. Mori's hypothesis was that people would find robots more appealing as they became more human-like, but only up to a certain point. Beyond that point, people would experience a sense of unease and discomfort. The uncanny valley can be caused by a number of factors, including ambiguity, mismatching elements, inconsistencies in portraying human likeness, discrepancies in voice, movement, or appearance. Some examples of the uncanny valley include the computer-generated faces in 2004 children's movie, The Polar Express, which I must admit, I was a bit, you think to yourself, God, how do they do that? I know they're rendered, but they just look odd. They look almost demonic somehow. Some of them did. Robots like Amika, Sophia, uncanny valley effect can have a number of implications, including increased emotional discomfort and anxiety, a breakdown in trust in technology, a challenge to balance functionality with a form that avoids triggering an eerie sensation. So it's like we just get this kind of feeling from them, and in a way they can be, if it's a multi-mass game where everyone all over the world is playing it, they're a form of egregore, modern day egregore, the characters that are playing. Do you think the same, Carl?
Yes. Now, I think that a lot of paranormal activity can be kind of accounted for by thought forms and egregores. Now, thought forms and egregores can gain an autonomy outside of the person or persons that created them. So once a person dies, doesn't necessarily mean the tulpa or the thought form or the egregore goes with the person. So I think there's kind of like almost like a psychic sludge or like a layer of psychic pollution kind of over the whole planet that's left over from everyone's thoughts and emotions that they had during their lifetimes, whether created consciously or unconsciously. So when you talk about nowadays with like video games, like especially with violent video games or with violent music with kids these days, the thoughts that are coming out of them are not safe. They're creating things that cause more problems in this world. I think when they gain autonomy outside of the game or outside the children's thoughts or actions themselves. I might be a little woo-woo with all this, but that's at least my understanding of it.
Yeah.
At least.
NASA Carl. NASA Carl. When you were growing up, did you ever have a imaginary friend?
I wouldn't say I did, but I was honestly I was pretty much on my own in my childhood, and I just felt that there were energies around me that I couldn't see. Sorry, that I couldn't see or explain. It was more of like a feeling that I had, like a heaviness in the air, or just like an odd sense that I was not alone. and I didn't see or hear anything. I didn't have an imaginary friend, but I definitely think that they're real, that they exist.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's one of these things where it's like uh I mean, guys, do you think we're putting too honestly? Do you think we when we witness stuff a lot of times, even to the point of paranormal stuff, and you get like like with Louis and Carl. I remember Louis telling me, and he's 100%. I believe Louis. He's a straight up guy, right? And you were getting banging on because you live in a like a static or a mobile home, yeah?
Little RV. Yeah.
RV,
That's what they
okay.
call it. Tommy knockers. That was, yeah.
And
Kyle can tell you.
Tommy knockers. I knew it was
so,
that.
and we were talking, weren't we, about the mines and mine systems where you were, and
Yeah.
then you said that you heard knocking on the outside of your RV.
Oh yeah. And I even send you those videos where like way up in the cliffs, there's perfectly circled carvings inside the rock formations. Like
Okay.
it's just
It's way up there. It's
way
out
up
in the
there, and I
middle of
don't even know
nowhere.
how it's not weathering. You got all the videos, but
Mhm.
I don't
yeah,
know how
we
you
were
get up
talking
there.
about all of that, and I remember that's when that night everything started. He's like, we got to get out of here. And I'm like, I kept going outside. I never saw nothing, but
Like, make sure everything's locked out there. Things are gonna go missing.
but yeah, sometimes it's a pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, with the knocking, you went up, you saw you went up, you saw these cave systems. I
Yeah.
automatically said, and you're witness to this, Carl. I automatically said, "Oh, Tommy knockers," and you were like, "What? Yeah, that's the thing."
Yeah.
When you told me about the knocking on your RV, do you think you would have heard that knocking on your RV if you hadn't have gone up to see the cave, the caves and prospective mines up there? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I think we deserve something.
Yeah.
I got close to
You
something.
disturbed
I
something.
I was going in deep into those places. And then like I said, I found another place that out there that looked like a doorway. It was in the middle of the stream, and I sat there at night, and after that, that's when we started seeing stuff. I mean, hearing
Mm,
stuff and witnessing stuff. I
okay.
told you about it. You know.
Now I'm going to change the subject. UFOs, guys. NASA Carl, you got the T-shirt, so I'm going to ask you first. Have you seen anything which you can construe as being a UFO?
Well, I do have one incident where I don't know if it was like a UFO, but it was like something that I would never forget. I was working at a country club on this island in the middle of Lake Washington, and on the opposite side is blowing field where they make all the airplanes. And I saw this light like hovering above the area, and it was just like hanging there for like about a half hour, and then like the light went like smaller and smaller and smaller, and then it just vanished. And I feel like it could have been like a government top secret aircraft object, but it was something that I was not aware of, or that I haven't seen before, like an airplane. Like how the lights flash and how it goes like a straight line. It was like this light was like hovering, and it was solid. It was really solid, and it just went like smaller and smaller and smaller, and it just poof, yeah,
Mm,
vanished. And it was definitely unidentifiable. So it was really
okay.
crazy.
But was that? Can I just quickly ask? Was it daytime or nighttime? That
It was evening, like around like 6 o'clock at night. So like
okay.
dusk, kind of. Yeah, dusk.
Anyone else see it?
No, yeah. Actually, one of my coworkers saw it. Yeah, and we both like turned to each other and sorry to swear. We were both like, "What the fuck was that?" You know.
Right.
And
Yeah, sure.
and it was just kind of like something that just kind of was like it was a head scratcher. You know, sorry to swear,
Yeah.
but it was like a
Yeah.
head scratcher. You know.
Hmm. Okay, right. Now the other two guys I know have seen lots and lots of stuff, lights.
A little bit.
What,
Oh,
where do you want to start, Louis?
I wish later on, Tess wants to get together so me, you, and her can have a good talk.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
she's still looking for it. Like when I was in the mountains of Mexico, I came upon a place, and it was I sent her so much video, and it started off like a little blinking light in the side of the mountain, and it would just start getting brighter and brighter and brighter and turn into a big old ball, and then it would just shoot out into the sky. And it went on all night long. After one would shoot out to the sky, another one would start blinking, and it was like they would just turn into a big old ball of light and just shoot out into the sky. And I sent all those videos to Tess, so you know she couldn't believe it. She's like she was amazed about it's not good high quality because I had a cheap phone, but it shows where like it just starts blinking. There's a little blink, and then it just starts blinking faster and faster and faster, and then turns into a big old ball of light, and it just shoots into the sky. And it did that all night long.
Okay. I had just a quick one. I had a comment come up, which was from Colin Kilty, the Dark 66. Tulpamancer, is that about spirit healing too? Well, not so much about spirit healing. What a tulpa is, a tulpamancer will be a person that actually makes a effigy, a character, a being, an entity, and puts everything they personally have into it. They give them a part of their personality, their emotions, everything into this being, and this being becomes sentient. It becomes aware. Nothing provable, but this is the story, which there's been accounts of it happening. Now with healing wise, what witches tend to use are along the same lines, puppets. And puppets are usually carved or made out of wax, and then they're clothed, and they look like a lot of times the person. They may make it to look like someone else. It's not a voodoo doll as such, but they can make a puppet to. Which one? Sorry.
Is it like shape shifting or shape shifting?
Yeah, it's kind of like tulpas can shapeshift once they're sentient and they become their own entity. It's said that they can assume, almost like the tulpa itself can absorb that person, so that person becomes that tulpa that they've put so in a way it is shape-shifting. It is shape-shifting. But witches puppets, they often use witches puppets in ritualistic magic to help them with ritualistic magic, and also to help them health wise as well, and protection. So but tulpas not so much. Tulpas are kind of like basically a art of form, but once they are sentient, once they have their own a life, if you like, they have the ability to change their demeanor. They can be whatever they want to be. They can assume whatever emotion they want to have. They're individual to the person that created them. That's the dangerous part of them. So yeah, that's that one. But thank you for that, Cole. Appreciate that. Yeah, UFOs, right? Get this. I was at a petrol station this week, right? I was in a gas station. I went in just to get some gas into the into the scooter I was riding, right? And I saw a newspaper, and on the newspaper about UFOs, right? The US military has been accused of carrying out a cover-up to make folk think weapon tests were aliens. Pentagon chiefs allegedly fueled conspiracy theories about UFOs in disguise. That was going on in Area 51 during the Cold War. This led locals to believe that the Nevada military base was testing alien tech, which was recovered, but it was actually being used to try out stealth aircraft, which it was felt could infiltrate the Soviet Union's air defense, it's claimed. Military officials hoping residents would believe the F-117 Nighthawk jets came from outer space. That's what they wanted people to believe instead of from Earth. But I mean, it's just a load of crap. If you believe that, you believe anything. It's almost as if the truth is getting so close, Louis. Carl, it's getting so close that they can't stop it, and they're trying now to backtrack.
Okay, you see, when I was in aviation mechanics school, they talking about that airplane. By the time it hits radar in Russia, by the time they realize it hit radar, it would already be landing and somewhere past Europe.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing, though, isn't it?
I went to school for aviation mechanics, and the stuff I've seen, I haven't seen anything else like it before, and I'm ex-military too, so
right.
I don't know how to explain it. It's just like that one I sent you the video of that spear following me all through New Mexico, and it stops right at the state line, right when I was crossing into a different state, so
ultra terrestrial.
Yeah, ultra terrestrial. What's military? I remember one thing we were working on when I was in aviation. We already had see-through aluminum, so materials, just like the outer shell of a plane, but you could see through it. So who knows what that was back in 2008. So
Technology.
there could be a lot more advanced stuff now,
Oh yeah, for sure there is. There's like, I reckon at least 20 to 30 years ahead of whatever we have now at the moment. I do know that they have like projectors on planes, so they project what is around them onto the plane. You got problems? It's the 13th,
Always happens.
Yeah. Have you heard of that, Carl? NASA Carl. Have you heard about they got projectors on planes, and they project what is around them. And they project it onto the plane. So if it's a blue sky, they'll project that onto the plane, and it will basically render it visually invisible.
I once saw this video. I don't know where it is now, but it was a video where this guy saw this extraterrestrial craft through his glasses, and like when he took his glasses off, it was gone. But as soon as he put his glasses back on, it was there, and it was kind of like a weird, like optical.
I can't really hear y'all for some reason. When I got that phone call, it's like I jumped to where it's.
You're right, Louis.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you now.
Yeah.
Is that your ear? I hope it's your ear.
Huh? Yeah, I got a phone call and now I can't.
Oh, it knocked the thing off. Hey, I tell you what, it probably is the person that's calling you is probably listening to the show right now, inadvertently, and they're like, "What on earth? What on earth are they listening to?"
I'm trying to figure out how to. Let me see.
pull it down from the top. You know, put your finger on the top of the screen, pull it down and see what's open.
Man, let me see.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. Is it that have you got a call ongoing at the moment? Am I talking to the caller?
How about now? Let me see.
Yeah, I can hear you. Just
Hear you too.
It's
Louis, it looks like you. It looks like you. Hello, Louis.
yeah.
After Louis.
We're probably gonna have to get off because it ain't gonna come off the.
All right, man. All right. No worries. Thank you for joining. Okay.
Okay.
It is
No
the
problem.
13th, man.
Yeah,
It
take
is-
care, Louis.
All right.
Give
Take
me
care.
you,
a
Kyle.
message later, and we'll see when we can have a meeting again.
Yeah, sure. With Tess. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. That's
Okay.
not a problem. All right. Thank you, Louis. I appreciate your time.
See you,
Thank you,
Have a
Louis.
brother.
blessed day.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Okay. Right.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah. It's us, which is good.
Yeah,
That's
it's
okay.
Friday the 13th. Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah, just for sure, man, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, right. Another thing that I did, I wanted to discuss really one thing with you. Didn't you say that you had like a ghosty thing happen to you or not? Was I mistaken? Was I
Yes, I
speaking
did.
with
Yeah. Yeah. I was at a graveyard with my ex at the time, and we were driving through it, and I felt this entity come inside me, and I like got this like vision of him. He was in the Korean War, and his call sign was Travis, and he got shot on a hill. It was raining, and as he went to the ground, he like wrapped his arm around a tree and took out 3 or 4 guys with his machine gun before he fell. And then I saw him like from like a bird's eye view, and he passed, and it was really quite something. I've never seen anything like that before in my life, and in a way, I felt kind of honored that he chose me to like kind of like manifest for this like to show how he died. And I do feel like entities want. I do feel like they like want to be heard, that they like want to be like recognized, you know. And
Yeah.
and I was just really honored that he chose me.
Mm. You missed out the money shot on that one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's an English thing. Yeah. When you got possessed,
Uh-huh.
what happened? What
Yeah,
happened?
I was in these woods. Well, when I got possessed, when I was in the graveyard, I just it happened so long ago. It was like 2010, and I just felt this like wave of like heaviness come over me, and I kind of went into like a trance. I like had my eyes closed, and I could just picture like Travis getting shot and passing on. It was really amazing. It was just kind of like a heaviness, I like the best I could describe it was like a trance. And
What did your friends say? What it was, because I think originally your friends saw you and
yeah,
you
yeah,
went into this trance,
yeah,
and they said to you that
uh-huh.
your eyes turned black.
Yeah. My eyes turned black, and I got scratched on the neck. It was I'm just gonna look something up here. My friends sent it to me. Um, there was this one called it was in Pennsylvania in America. It says in Reading Pennsylvania, the Union Canal entered the city from the west, snaking through wooded and industrial areas. By the late 1800s, parts of the canal in Reading had become neglected and stagnant, making them unfortunately plausible sites for tragedies like in 1880 a Bissinger incident in which a mother drowned her three children and herself, reportedly driven by desperation and abuse. And that was when my eyes turned color and I got attacked on the a neck, and like I felt this like trance kind of like wanting me to like go down this path, and my friends like literally had to like restrain me, so it was really crazy.
Damn, that is crazy. Do you know that's absolutely uh, just blow me away. But your eyes turning black. I mean, that is like you know, a symbiotic joining.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
was with you. Something was
Something
in
was
you almost.
conjuring inside me that was really wicked. So
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
gnarly, and
Wow.
yeah, but I'm just really happy that in a way, I'm happy that I had that it happen to me, because I feel like it was like a way that I could like
Mm.
uh
Uh,
I just feel like there is a way that like I could see that there is a world beyond our
we've
own.
got a Roxy B said, was it like a waking dream, or did you have the feelings of the person like it was happening to you?
I
It's a
feel
good
like it
question.
was. Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I feel like it kind of like everything went in like slow motion, kind of
Mm.
sort of thing, and I like couldn't hear like any sounds. I couldn't hear anything, and I just felt this like tuggingness to want to go down this path in the woods, and it was more like everything just went like the best way I could describe it is that everything went into slow motion, if you will, and it wasn't until we got in our car that I came out of it.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no
And
problem.
listen, Carl, thank you very much for coming on. I
Yeah,
appreciate your
Bill.
time
Thank you, sir.
and sharing what you shared with us. It's
Yeah,
been brilliant. And we will have that. We will have more chats. Definitely.
yeah,
We'll have
definitely,
another
Bill.
interview.
Anytime,
Yeah. Yeah. And
anytime,
that'll
sir.
be
Anytime, and it's been an honor to be on your show. And
oh, that's so sweet, man. Most people can't wait to get off. But it's really nice of you. Thank you.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah, and thank you for being a conduit to the other side. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, we're all just explorers trying to get out there, and I'm boots on the ground as much as you are. And we just try and we know there's something there. And we just want to get at the truth. All of us
Yeah,
do. We just
totally,
want to,
totally.
because the government's not telling us, so we've got to
No,
try and find it ourselves.
yeah, they're not telling us anything.
Carl, thank you very much
Yeah, thank
indeed. I
you, Phil.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Bye
take
bye, mate.
care. Take
Bye. Okay, that's lovely. Right. What I wanted to do was also I've got to do this as well. For Dornio, Kate, and Colin Kilty, the Dark 66, you will be getting one. I've got some tea in it. You will be getting one of these very soon. Where am I? Okay. We're redoing the shop. Well, Roxy B is redoing the shop. So it's going to be redone, and she got me this today. It's really nice. Yeah. And I thought, wow, that's quite smart. So the shop's going to be redone, new graphics, everything else like that. So that's going to be done. Now, what I want to talk to you lot about is because really I was hoping I put up a poll, didn't I? Maybe I shouldn't have done really. Talking about tulpas and thought forms. And I said to you, let me bring it up. Let me bring it up. That'd be an easier way of doing it. Hold on, let me bring it up. Share screen. Here we go. No, hang on. Wrong one. That one. Here we go. Right. Share. Right, let me bring it down. Right. This is the YouTube poll. Okay. Right. Right. See that? Okay. So I asked basically on that. I asked. Bear with. Right, in the next Friday Night Files, would you like to try a thought experiment? Collectively, think of an entity we know, but still elusive, such as one on the list below, to manifest to me. During the show, I will set a date and time in the week to do another short live, and I would like all of you to concentrate during the time before and during that live, and to really believe whichever entity or spirit will move or interact with some trigger objects I will display. I will, for a week, document any daily changes to any unusual activity like moved objects or visual sightings or knocks, bangs, anything odd. I will honestly upload it as I go, like a diary, which I will do. And you've got a choice. You had the choice of cryptid, alien, ghost. Got 0, nothing. That's strange. I thought you would have picked ghost, you know. And Faye. That's on the YouTube one. And let's have a look. 56% said on the 56% said cryptid. But on the Facebook one, I think it's slightly different. Let's have a look. Facebook. Right, hang on. Wait a minute. Let's get that. Right, hold on. Let's get that off. Bye bye, Cole. Hang on. I'll talk to you in a minute. Right, okay. Once again, same poll. 66% cryptid, 33% alien. So cryptids get it, right? So cryptids get it. So basically, what it is it's going to be a case of, I want you to think, don't tell me that's why I put cryptid. Don't tell me in the comments what cryptid. Okay, because I want it to be a surprise. If this works, just have it in your mind, kind of like, you know, whenever you think about it, just think, okay, go visit Phil, move something for Phil, drink his tea, admire his mug, you know, just something, do something, however odd, bizarre, or maybe turn the lights on, turn the lights off. So with the Xanu group, the Xanu, sorry, with Gordon Dodds, part of joining is because I joined the group, and I'm pleased I did. It's a really good group, some lovely people on it. But part of the joining is you fill in the form, you know, online. You know, you adhere to the no bullying, no swearing, no you know, that's fine. That's natural on a Facebook page, you know. But then it was a case with the Xanu group where you had to get a call from a member, from an admin. So I waited. I thought that's a bit odd. Got to talk to someone, right? And I had a call, and I think it was Gordon Dodds actually. He called me, and he said, "Oh, you'd like to join it?" Yeah, I would. Yeah. He said, "Oh, right, okay." He said, "Well, I'll send round one of the Xanu then to visit you, and if they are okay when they visit you, if they think you're genuine, and have sort of, you know, normal. Well, yeah, but if they think you're okay, basically, then you they'll let you into the Janu Facebook page, the UK one, which is great. So it's something which they believe happens. And I did have like a light that flickered. I did have stuff happen. I did have stuff happen. I told Gordon about it. Gordon went, yeah, that'll be the Janu, yeah. So because I think yeah, that's it. I had found a feather as well on like a windscreen. It's tiny little small things, it's nothing major big where it's like knocking at the door or anything like that. But by all means, think what I'm saying to you, just play the game from the point of view of think about it, keep it in your mind, and whatever cryptid you believe you would like to visit me, that's fine. Doesn't matter. But then that will then narrow the field. If something happens or I get a feeling, because I always get I've got like a little bit of a gift where I can sense things. I can sense things, especially when I'm out in the woods or forest. I can sense stuff. And it's pretty accurate. My sense is pretty accurate. I really trust on that gut feeling. So, and I will be able to tell you by the next Friday Night Files, by next week, I'll be able to tell you what happened and what cryptid you sent. So that's it. Just worth a try. We're talking about tulpas, thought forms. Let's try a thought form. Let's see if that can manifest. Right, it is getting close to that time. Let's have a look at the comments. Oh, hello, Rick. Yeah, yep. How you doing, Rick? You all right, mate? Andy Penn. Yeah. I hope you're okay. Thank you for joining. Both two very clever guys. Yeah, and then you got Colin. Hi, Cole. A mug is on its way, Cole. Right. Oh, hang on. We've got. Oh, good evening. Hello, Mr. Pegler. How are you? Hope you're keeping well. I think you went. Didn't you guys? Was it that I saw you went to Netherlands? Because you seem to sort of go riding about with Vince everywhere, stopping off for cups of tea and sandwiches. Drive miles and miles and miles, ride miles and miles and miles, and stop for a cup of tea and a sandwich in a cafe and then come back. Did you go to Netherlands to have a cup of tea and a sandwich? Can't say I would. Definitely not the scooter. Let's have a look. Yes, exactly. Yeah, drink tea. That would be Basil. Lights on and off would be Alexa. So maybe something else. Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we have got the A. I won't say it because otherwise it will set off all your devices. I'm not going to be mean like that because I know it happens to us. As soon as you say Alexa or you say Google, boom, they come up, don't they? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Oh, what's this? Hang on. Ready, steady, retro. Hi, how you doing? I had a voice in my ear as my head was touching the pillow the night I had my Janu house visit. Yes, I know you're part of the Janu group. Yes, you are. Bless you. Oh, right, yeah. Okay. Interesting. I remember you telling me ages ago. I'm sure you mentioned that. Yeah. Was that scary for you? You know, I know there's a lot of people that are put off by it. They're put off. They've told me we're put off by uh, joining the group because of that very thing. Someone, an entity coming into the house. It's a bit invasive, isn't it? A bit invasive. It's a bit kind of, don't know. But the night I joined Keith, wasn't expecting it. That was the first time they entered my home that I know of, although they'd been around for 2 years. So if they'd been around for 2 years, was that prior to you joining, or did you join, know about the Janu, and then they, you know, that's, if it was prior to you joining and finding out about the Janu, that would be really, really impressive. Really impressive. I'm not detracting from what you're saying and experiences you had, but you can see from my point of view, if it happened prior to you knowing about Janu, my word, that would be really impressive. Oh, hang on. Oh, hang on. Well, sorry about that. Sorry, Roxy. France. Cup of tea and a sandwich in France, was it? Very lovely. Very lovely. That's nice. Yeah. Yeah. Roads are lovely in France. No potholes, anything. It's brilliant. And also another really good thing they have in France, which they should have over here. If there's an accident, then what they'll do, they'll get rid of the offending vehicle that's had an accident or broken down. Their priority is to get rid of that vehicle, tow it away, and get it off the road. They put a priority on keeping the traffic flowing. Whereas here, it's just sort of just close the whole roads off, really. Just let them wait for 5 hours. Yeah, while we take photos. Or, yeah, it's got a puncture, so that's all right. Yeah, well, we can close off the whole motorway, really, for that. Yeah. It's a bit different, isn't it? Anyway, you've heard me yabber on for quite long enough. I shall leave you in the capable hands of Roxy B to say goodnight. And I just want to say thank you very much for joining us. Hope you took something from it and you got something from it. Thank you for joining and seeing. It was lovely seeing you guys. It's a nice community, isn't it? It's a nice community. Anyway, I'm going to take myself off and I shall say, have yourself a lovely weekend. All right. Thank you.
There you go, Friday the 13th. Honestly, what on earth? So, first off, I'd just like to thank Carl Evans, Louis, of course, and his friend Kyle, Kate and Dawn, as always. Thank you so much, ladies, and Andy Penn in the chat. Always a fountain of knowledge. I don't know where this chat would be, really. Incredible. I've learned lots of new things I didn't know. And there's still a chat there that we didn't get round to discussing. Brendan Harris used to get tucked in by his grandmother to bed years after she'd died. So, and he had also a type of paralysis. So, that is another thing to leave everybody with. So have a great weekend. I hope you got your batteries. It's meant to be stormy.
Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute.
Yeah.
I'll come back for that one. I'm coming back for that one.
Did you?
He had sleep paralysis.
No. So hold on. I will get to it. Where is it? Where's
I
it
missed that
gone?
one. I missed
Yeah,
it.
you did. I did put it up and you missed it.
I was yabbering.
There we go. This what happened.
When my great grandma passed, she used to tuck me in bed, tuck me up in bed. This went on for months. Not gonna lie, it did kind of scare me. Right. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
And
A type of paralysis also went completely numb. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I would like to know, Brennan, and how you doing as well, Brennan. I'd like to know, when your grandma was alive, bless her, did she used to do that? Was that a regular thing? I know a lot of parents do that with kids. They sort of, you know, so I used to do that with my kid. I used to wrap them up so tight so the little things wouldn't move really and run around in bed. You know, it's just wrap them up and there you go, you're staying there. But they do, you know, parents do tuck them in. You know, they like it. They like that feeling. But did she do that while you were alive? You know, while she was alive. Sorry. That would be interesting. And you had the type of paralysis as well. I wonder if that comes from the fact that, you know, when you tuck a kiddie up, especially when they're younger, I can remember when I was a kid being tucked up like in a straitjacket. You know, it's like, oh, I can't move. I'll be head in the bed, and that would be, you know, that would be it. But it would be nice. It would be kind of comforting feeling. You know, it is a comforting feeling being tucked up. You're like, oh yeah, it's nice. But I just wondered if that was the paralysis or whether it was paralysis where you just couldn't lift your arms, couldn't lift your leg. Because I've had that myself. And one of the most scariest things. People know that they know if they've heard me yabber on about that episode with the shadow being sleep paralysis. That was the one. Never been so frightened. Now, I've been in some spooky places. Really, you know, and I'm kind of like I'll go there. I'll go that extra bit. I'll go into that dark room. I'll go into that dark cell. I'll go into that dark wood. I'll go the extra bit. I'll keep on going. I'll do it. But nothing has ever in my life, I swear, nothing in my life has scared me as much as the shadow being I saw. And that was in Chiswick, in a bedsit when I was younger, about my 20s it was. So yeah, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. Thank you very much for that. I'm so sorry that I missed it. Sorry, Rooks, for that. I missed that one. I'm yabbering. Anyway, okay, I'll let you finish.
no,
I just had
I am done. Just want to assure everyone it will be a new mug, ladies. Colin, it's not Phil's tea, and it is going to be slightly different. So it's the design I'm working on currently, but it's kind of got some of them elements on it. So just like to say, while he's finishing his tea, lucky him, I'm making do with a giant water. Look, I've drunk all that while you've been talking. Look at that. And I've not got up to go for a wee, so
right, your age, that's something.
My great age, my very, very old age now.
Yeah, because Roxy will be 60 on the Tuesday.
Oh, well done for remembering. Anyway, enough of that. Let's just say, enjoy your weekend. Finally, you'll finally get there, people. We're going to leave you to whatever you're up to. Have a great one, and we'll see you next week for another Friday Night File.
Take care. Bye, everyone. Thank you.